Well, hello, and welcome back. Well, there we go. Let's shed some light on the subject here. So I'm AJ O'Neill. This is not really Beyond Code Live as much as it is just me at work. But there's a project that I created called Telebit, which is a secure tunnel. And I originally had created this in Node.js, but somebody wanted it for a particular application where I didn't recommend Node.js for them. Because Node's networking stack is bad. So I rewrote it in Go, which I was planning to do anyway, but thankfully, because I had this client, I had the opportunity to rewrite it in Go. And then about a year later, there's a couple of updates that they needed, and then it's just been about another 6 months since I've finally gotten around to it, because it's just some small updates. So anyway, that's what we're going to be doing tonight. Is we're going to be fixing the logging so that it'll work properly on Windows, because Windows services don't have loggers in the way that normal operating systems do. So I need to explicitly have the program itself write to a file or have the option to write to a file rather than just writing to standard out, because there is no logger facility on Windows to capture the standard out based on the way that it's Windows stuff. Anyway, and the client itself runs on Windows. Anyway, so we got that, and then the other thing was needed to put an option in there so that the service will just kill itself, because there's some sort of something that every so often, every couple of days or weeks or whatever, it just dies anyway, and so. But it dies, but it doesn't die. Connection breaks, but then it doesn't die all the way. So the quicker solution to that, rather than I don't have access to debug, I can't reproduce it. So the way that we're gonna fix that is just add in a duration. So say every 12 hours or every 24 hours or every day at some particular time, the thing's going to die. And then reboot itself. So that's what we're going to go for. All right. So with that out of the way, I'm just going to go check in this other window real quick, make sure that I have it cloned. That's odd. Let's see. Okay, it looks like maybe I have it cloned. Maybe I don't have it cloned. I'm going to do this here. I'll bring this over to the other screen in just a second. Let's see. Oh, that's gonna take a moment. Oh, that's weird. I again complain about this all the time, but for some reason the backup drive has to spin up in order for it to search the SSD. It's doing a local copy from a local directory, and yet backup drive spin up. I hear the backup drive spin up and it waits, and then it finally does the copy. Okay, so that's done. Oh, and before we get too far along, let's have a word from our sponsor, but not really our sponsor, Mr. Mountain Dew. It is time, my friends, to pop a top. If I can get my finger around this. Maybe. An open focus. Oh gosh, it's a little too warm. I think I might have forgotten to go get a colder one. Speaking of which, I don't have a who to follow today, so I'm gonna randomly pick the SB mails, SB emails, strong bad emails. Particularly, you can check out the episode on cold ones. Something about the oneness of the one directly proportional to its coldness. All right, I'm just copying this thing over. Good. All right, so here we are, Telebit, and we need to go through here and just replace a bunch of format.prints all over the place. Oh gosh. That's quite a few of them. Let's do the most important thing first, though. Most important thing that solves their immediate problem is I need to add an option. Let's see, command And this will probably be under telebit.go. I think I just, oh gosh, I should rerun all of the Go tooling over this whole project because, let's see, what version of Go are we at right now? Go version? We up to 17? Okay, so let me run Go fmt over this whole project and just see what happens when I do that. So it changed the build tags kind of in a weird way because it should have removed all of the old ones, but it didn't. It just added new ones, but this is good. Some people were complaining about this change, which I get it. It is a change. But on the other hand, it seems kind of weird to me because you just run the tools and it auto fixes everything. So, you know, what's the problem, right? Okay, I'm going to check over here. Do I need to escape this plus? I think I do. Yeah, all of these lines I just want to get rid of. So what I'm going to do is say SD. Let's see if I can do it this way. We're going to do SD, and we're going to do plus build, and I'm going to put this, now I can't put this in string mode. So I think, yeah, I backslash that, and then I do something to do multi-line mode. I think it's -M, something like that. So basically, I'm going to say anywhere you find one of these things, all the way to the end, just replace it with nothing. And then what I'm going to run that on is going to be a list of files that match star.go, match.go, maybe, end and go. Let's see how that works out. Let's see how this works out. Okay, I actually don't care about all the vendor stuff. Let's try just this one. Star.go, 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 and so forth. Okay, no star.go here. Fine. Really? Star.go? Like that? Okay, SD help. Let's see, where's multi-line? Oh, FM. FM. There we go. Make this a multi-line match. Interesting. Okay. But then why did this one lose it? Huh, interesting. Oh, and this is all vendor stuff. I don't want to change any of the vendor stuff. Let me check that out. Vendor. Hey, Mike, how's it going? How are you doing tonight? Go build tools. Let's see, assets, command, internal. Oh, I guess, you know what? one thing I want to do, I'm not going to do it right now, but I want to update to using embed because there's a lot of nice new features that have come into Go since Go 1.15, which I think is what I was last building this with. And I want to take advantage of them. Interesting. Yeah, I'm glad that they changed the syntax on this, and I'm glad that it auto updates with the formatter. Noon in Taiwan. Good. So is this your lunch break? All right. I need to pull my chair out a little. Is that as far as it goes? Hold on. There we go. There we go. That's a little better, I think, maybe. Uploading new videos. What videos have you got today? And let me lower this just a touch. My wrists are a little too high. There's a little too much pressure on them. Trick is to get your desk and your wrists aligned so that you don't put pressure down on your wrists. All right. Also, I still have my Helm personal server for mail and files and VPN. I have not opened that yet, but I want to open that soon. Seafood auction and dorayaki. I don't know what that means. All right, so I'm going to just commit this as refactor update Go build syntax for Go v1.17. All right, and then under command, we want to go into telebit go, and we want to do something. I'm trying to think of how to go about doing this the best way. I've also got some sticky stuff on my desk here. The Mountain Dew, when it, yes, I just used my saliva to clean that. But the Mountain Dew, when I opened it, I got a little bit of syrup on the desk. There we go. That should handle that. Let's see. Oh, this reminds me. I need to go back and ask somebody. Had some good ideas about how to do flag parsing in Go. Had some axioms to follow, and I don't remember what they were, but I want to learn them and see if I agree with them, which I probably will. But I think they said don't have an init method, only have a parse method for the parsing. Oh, wait, look, here we have debug. Write to tunnel.log when running as a Windows service. Huh. That's weird. It looks like I already did that part. Okay, and then the only thing I need to do, definitely. Oh, and this has got the Windows stuff in it. That's weird. I thought the Windows stuff was somewhere else. Yeah, what the heck is this? Come on. That's it? Okay, that's it. Parse flags and envs. Okay, this is the big thing. Lots and lots of options here. Oof. But essentially, I just need something I need something to check to see. It either needs a time, say a restart time, or just a duration. So let me think on that for a second. What have we got for this? Just a bunch of these things here. Config. It doesn't need to go in the config. It doesn't necessarily need to go in the parse here either. Oh man, I remember. IP list. Interesting. Oh. It's been a while since I've been in this code, so I'm just kind of going back through this and kind of refamiliarizing myself. Like I said, it's been at least 6 months since I really spent any legitimate time in this code, probably or closer to a year. But the time is coming up because this is going to be one of the upcoming projects. Which brand did you get for home server? I got Helm. That's what I got. So we'll see. This is one of the competitors to the company that I used to have. Well, I guess they came out a little bit after around the same time that we had launched our campaign. But this, they started out as just a private email server, and they've expanded into files and a VPN, which I think the VPN idea is quite a natural fit. And we'll see. Honestly, I don't have really high hopes. I want to see how they did it. I want to see how their process works. I'm gonna live stream setting it up and have that as something to reference for the future. But I highly doubt that they're going to be truly successful. And the reason is just because one thing that no one seems to be getting about the desire for privacy in the market is that it makes a good Kickstarter campaign, but it doesn't sell. It's not once you've had your Kickstarter campaign on your privacy product, that's it. You've reached 100%. Your market is saturated. There's nowhere else for you to go. And I think that what these companies that want to focus on privacy, what they need to focus on instead is convenience. How do you make it faster? How do you make it easier for people to use? And how do you make them feel safer about it? And I think what you got to go after with that is the moms that are sharing their photos, because more and more they're realizing, hey, I don't want my children's life documented on Instagram. That's kind of scary. Yeah, I wouldn't go with the Synology. It's too technical. This is just as much an R&D bit as it is something else, as it is. It's just as much for me to look at how they've done it as it is for me to experience the product. A Synology maybe I'd get more benefit out of, but it's ultimately not the kind of product that I want to create. This is more similar to the product that I want to create. Sleek, simple. Anyway, gosh, there's a lot of cool stuff in this project here. And there's one thing that we need to figure out at some point. So when you use the machine ID, which often software that has license keys or does something with encryption, it'll use the machine ID as part of the license or as part of the encryption. If you do that, when you run macOS Migration Assistant, everything will copy over, but it'll get a different machine ID. And so certain services and whatnot will stop working. I suppose that would be the same with whatever the Windows equivalent of Migration Assistant is. Yeah, convenience is... So they get smart technical people to work on things. So convenience and sharing. And again, that's why I say it's the moms. Because the moms, they want their kids to be able to share things online, but they want to feel safe about it. So make it easier. Make it easier for them to feel like they've got a handle on what's going on online. And, something that they want to share. They share with the family. They share with grandma. They share with Grandpa doesn't check his phone. I think that's a universal truth. Grandpa don't care. All right. So I'm just going to go back up here. Oh. And we're just gonna create a thing called retry after. Do we have any other durations? Oh, we got a duration right here. Let's try this one. Duration. You know, there was another name for leeway. Dagnabbit. Now I forgot what it was. I just ran into it the other day. This has so many possible options. This thing's really... Gosh, there's a lot to configure with this. Okay. DNS propagation delay. No, this one is going to be entirely different. This is going to be restart after. Restart after. And 0. So let's say exit. TTL, maybe I should call it time to live. TTL, is that used anywhere else in here? TTL. Force quit after the specified duration. And I think we have to use hours for this. I don't know if I want to use TTL for that because that's generally used for network terminology, but I don't know what else I should call it. What would be a good name? Oh, there we go again. I gotta turn off that autocomplete real quick. It's gonna bug the bejeebies out of me if I can't. Not SSH. I want to go into Vim, RC. Do we have anything in here about Go? Do we have anything here about autocomplete? Autocomplete. Is this the autocomplete I'm looking for? Auto import. Completion enabled. Oh. Yeah, so I don't know what's doing that. But the only thing I don't like about that is that I don't actually want it to do auto anything. If I could just get it to do nothing by default, I would be happy. So let's see where that might be. Probably in Vim, plugins, Go. Show type info as you type. Auto completions. Turn on auto completions when hitting dot. How do I tell it to not? Could I just take away this part? I have no idea how Vim works. I'm just going to trial and error this real quick. Well, I'm just gonna comment that out for now, and we'll go with it. But I would like it to show the menu. I just don't want it to actually type ahead. But maybe that's, hold on, maybe there's something else I need to do here. Show type info as you type. No, that's not it. I don't know what I need to do there. I'm just going to forget about it because I'll come back to it. Okay, so let's say that we call this TTL. Quit. Maybe quit at and quit after. Exit after, exit at. What do you think? Force quit after the specified time. And so this one, I would actually want to be, do we have flag.time? I don't know if we do. Let's check that out real quick. Go, oh, whoops, there we go. Go flag.time. We got duration. How about we just go to the go flag package? Do we have anything for time? Time, parse duration. That's it. That's okay. So let's do go time. This is a worth file extension. You know what else I need as an extension? I need an extension that removes political propaganda from documentation pages. I hate how all these projects support these really yeah. Okay. Time. Do we have a time.parse? That's what I want. Parse in location. Parse in location. This is what I want, I think. And there's a way to get the current location. So the parse. Let's see. Do I need that? Well, this could be a problem. Because I guess it should just, if these are Windows systems, then I guess let me think about this. So if it's a Windows system, then it's not going to be set in UTC. It's going to be set in local time always. Servers generally are in UTC, but Windows laptops are always in local time. I don't think I've ever seen them set to UTC. In fact, I think they even screw up the BIOS and make the BIOS report local time. They don't. I don't think they work. Windows doesn't do anything standard. Doesn't do anything the way that every other computer system on the planet. Just a little tiny fraction of Windows laptops against every other device in car, plane, train, TV, thermostat, camera, etc., etc., etc. Apple device, Android device, yada yada yada, tablets. Just Windows. They just have to do it their own way. Everybody else, they format time the same way. But perhaps in Windows' defense, the brief time in which Windows was popular was before the internet. So perhaps there's that. All right. So we'll have a string, which is exit at, and let's just go ahead and call this exit after And then I guess all we need to do for this is probably check the 0 value, which do we have a 0 value for duration? Duration. What is the 0 value? There are a few things in Go, a few types in Go that we have to check is 0. The date object is one of them. Duration seems to be just if it matches 0, it's 0. Okay. So that gets parsed. And then we can handle all of this right here, I think. Imperium, hey, what's up? How are you doing? I am good. In accordance with my time zone, it is also, well, no, it's not morning yet. It's only 11. There are just way too many options for this. Goodness knows there's too many options, but they are kind of necessary. That seems to be the wrong place to put this. Parse flags and envs. But where else would they go? Exit after. Wait, did I just see something up here? Exit OK, there we go. All right, exit after will cause the program to forcefully exit after the given duration. Exit at will cause the program to forcefully exit at the given time. I wonder if this makes sense. Because both of these kind of mean the same thing, exit after, exit at. I wish I could differentiate them better in terms of this. What's a term I could use to say this one is a duration versus this one is a time? I guess I could call this exit time. That would make sense. Yeah, whatever. I'm just going to leave it exit at for now. And then we'll go to parse flags and envs, and then I will do let's see, if 0 is not equal to exit at, or 0 is not equal to exit after, I think both of these can be represented as 0. The duration, no, the time. Exit at would be, I don't know why this is a convention in Go, but for strings, they'll say len of the string is greater than 0, or I guess we could do this too, exit after is greater than 0. Or I guess I could do both. I'll just do both independently. Okay. And do I really want... This one's easy. The exit after is super easy. So this one is simply defer, no, not defer, just go func. We're just creating an asynchronous function, and we're going to call os.exit, and this is going to be a clean exit. I should probably do something to tell this thing to stop running, maybe. To do, oh crap, no, I do have to do that. svc.stop. Ah, crap, I forget how this works with Windows. Because in Windows, services, so on normal systems, you have a kill signal and a reread the config file signal, and you have other signals. In Windows, you have a start signal and a stop signal. When you get the stop signal, it tells the service to stop doing anything useful, but it doesn't kill the service. And this is problematic. We'll see how this works. Because I think one of the reasons that I had to work around this, we'll see. We'll see. SVC. Where's SVC coming from? Go service. Yeah. Dang it. Okay, so maybe this should be an svc.start. We're taking the program. PRG. Good. I need to go look up the documentation for SVC. I don't remember. Let's see if we can find. All right, what is this one from? SVC is from Judd White. Let's see if we can find Judd White. So SVC is an abstraction that will work on Windows, essentially. Windows service wrapper that, yeah, plays nice with Linux. Yeah. Dang it. So I think I actually am going to have to handle a graceful cleanup of the system, and I'm not 100% sure how that's going to get done. Maybe I just follow what this does here. Hey, Sassy. Just came here for Golang. Are you also streaming on Twitch? Yes, I am. Twitch.tv/coolaj86. I am also on Twitch. Yeah, so I'm working on something. It's a little bit different than what I said in the title. I am working in Go, but I thought I was going to be starting with the simple task of just, well, let's go replace all these fmt.print lines with log.Printf. But I'm not actually going to do that tonight. What I'm going to do tonight instead is figure out how to get this service to restart. And the terrible thing is I don't have a Windows system right now to test this on. But I need it I need when the Windows stop signal happens, I need the program to die. Fetch directives and run. Okay. What is this done about? So I need a way to stop this serve from happening. I need a way to stop this listen. Oh no, that just returns a listener. So I need a way to stop serving. Because if you exit from a Windows service, if you call os.exit, it doesn't do what you think, if I remember correctly. There was a problem with this. Yeah, I'll give the link. Yeah. https twitch.tv/coolage86. Also, it's in the doobly-doo. So if you're on YouTube, you've got the doobly-doo down there. If you expand that, you'll see all the links. Except for the Discord link, which I'll go ahead and post right now if anybody wants to join in on the Discord. Mostly right now, we're just using it so that when I go live, when I'm getting ready to go live, I'll post, and anywhere between 5 minutes and an hour later, I'll actually go live. And then we have a little bit of chit chat sometimes now and then. So feel free to join in if you want to join in on the Discord. Dang it. Okay, I gotta go read some documentation. Okay. Sync.wait group. All right, I need to go look at HTTP because it has a listen and serve. So we'll look at net HTTP. And I'm going to see what it does. How do we stop this? Because I don't remember. It's been such a long time. If I want to kill this, how do I do it? Listen and serve. Is there a cancel or a close? Let's see. Is there any way to close a network connection? There must be, but I just don't remember what it is. It's been a while. Server close. So I'm guessing it must be allowable for me to call close. It must be thread safe, but let's go check the docs and see what it says. Okay, shutdown. Okay, doesn't know about hijacked connections. So let's go check shutdown. So I need shutdown and I need close, I think. Closes all open listeners, closing all idle connections. And can have a context. Okay, so we need a shutdown function. So we have telebit.listen and serve, but we also have telebit.serve, and this is similar. Serves a listener. Okay, so we got two things going on here. This one, let me see what function this is actually in. Dad, what's that? My leet is a little rusty. Hello, Dad, what's that? All right. It has been so long since I've been in this code base. Let's see, which one is this again? Fetch directives and run. And that's where telebit.serve is. And then where's telebit.listen and serve? Is this the same? Okay, it's all in here. So why are these different? So this one is if we've been given some bind addresses and we've got some net listeners. These net listeners are probably what we could close when we need to call shutdown. So I probably need to put them in a collection that I have access to from the stop function. There's so many things going on. So this is what it's going to be listening on locally. But I don't remember why. Because there's three different types of connection that this has to have. This is an encrypted proxy. So it's tunneling between a local server and web sockets. So it listens on a local port for incoming connections. It also connects to a web socket and listens on it. It abuses the web socket and treats it as if it is a listener, and it is a listener. And then I think it also does something else. Parse bind adders. Parse bind adders. Rather than bind adders, this should have had a better name for sure. Bind adders stir. Get env listen. So what was listen all about? I don't think we use that in the client configuration. I could be mistaken. I'm going to check something on the other screen here. Oh, yeah. Okay. So I think listen is exclusively. So the other thing, that the tunneling can be recursive. So you can run a tunnel here, and you can run a tunnel here, and the one tunnel can use the other tunnel, and the other tunnel can use a different tunnel, and so you can have a, I hate to use this expression, but Tor-like network setup where you're bouncing through different tunnels. Of course, in the general case, that would be a bad idea because it would just make you lose lots of efficiency. But it's just it's a byproduct of the relay being able to work for other devices that, for whatever reason, can't run the relay themselves. Okay. I'm looking to see. So listen or dash listen. List of bind addresses on which to listen. Yep. All right, these are proxies. Yeah. Or port forwards, rather. Yeah, sure. Well, let's see. Oh, right. So one of the things that this can do is this can function as a reverse proxy as well. So it can take in some things that can come in, can be reverse proxied to a local API or a local service. Some things that come in can go to the WebSocket connection when it's functioning as the relay server. And it can also do direct port forwards. So it can function as it just does multiple functions, the common functions that you'd need with the type of way that I'm running this. And that okay, so I don't need to worry about locals. I don't need to worry about listen, because this is to listen for relay clients. A list of bind addresses on which to listen for relay clients. And then to use as reverse proxy. That actually can work in both places. And then port forward. Oops. Ports to forward. Port to ports. Oh. Port forwards. Mux all. Ugh. This thing's so scary. Okay, so closing these listeners is not going to be a problem. Closing the active connections on the listener might be. Let me look at the documentation for just plain net. Okay, we've got a listener, net.listen. Let's just search for listen. And then listen, listener, listen, listener. So type listener does have a close, Closes the listener. Any blocked except operations will be unblocked and return errors. But we'd have to kill each of the connections individually. I don't know if I'm actually ready to do this tonight. But I'm going to find out where I define this method, and I'm going to go attack that file a little bit. Whoops. Because what we need to implement is a shutdown for sure. And it's going to be a nasty one. Ooh. Okay, we do have a close implemented on here. Does the close do anything? Looks like it might. So let's go back here. So there's the tunnel. And okay, listen and serve is being called on the tunnel. So this tunnel, the way that it works is the relay client that's on the Windows box connects out to the relay server that's out on the Linux box. And then other devices can connect to the Linux server. And based on the domain name, the subdomain that they present to the Linux server is then going to it's going to take that HTTP connection and it's going to tunnel it through a WebSocket to the client. So as far as everything out on the internet is concerned, when it connects to the tunnel server, everything behaves as though it's connecting directly to the Windows device that's behind the firewalls and all that. So it's kind of a poor man's VPN. So when we dial the WebSocket, the tunnel that we end up with is the same in terms of its interface as if it were locally listening. So we dial the WebSocket tunnel, and then we use that tunnel and we listen on the tunnel, which is, where was that at? Listen and serve tunnel right here. So this is where we would need to call the shutdown, is on the listen and serve, and then telebit.serve. These ones are the easiest ones, I think, because this is all just local connection stuff, I think. And it's just going through the muxer that's deciding, does this get reverse proxied locally? Does it get handled locally? Or does it go out through the WebSocket tunnel? So I need listen and serve. Let's see, where is that at? Okay, it needs to be in here. And does this have the serve function as well? Yes, it does. Great. Okay, cool. So this is where we need to have our shutdown function for sure. And what is, let's go take a look at, I'm going to take a look at Go HTTP to see. I think the only thing that shutdown function takes, and it's at the level of a server, it just takes a context. So what is listen and serve at the level of a server here too? Yeah. So I'm going to say that, so telebit operates as a singleton. And I think that that's all right. I don't know that it would be useful to operate in any other way. Let's see, serve, net, listener, and then what else do I take in here? A mux handler. Okay, so if I'm going to do a shutdown, I'm going to have to know all of the clients that are currently accepted and shut them down. That's okay, Sassy. You watch whatever works best for you. So this is a very unusual project, by the way. This is very atypical. Well, it's not atypical Go because half the internet's infrastructure is written in Go, and it does stuff like this where things are being proxied and they are, but not in this same way. Not where you're treating a WebSocket as a net listener. So it does have a listener.close. Okay, shutdown. What was CTX context.context? Is that what this was? Oh, and it's context.context, no star there. And the error that happens. Let me go look at the implementation of this. Can we get to the implementation? Yes, we can. Oh, this is weird. This is a little bit more heavyweight. Nice. Add 10% jitter. Double and clamp. Nice. Defer timer.stop. Let's see. Close idle connections. Where's that at? Close all idle connections. Report if the server is quiescent. All right, so it's keeping track of all the connections here. Huh. Interesting. Active connection C. Oh, okay. So this is something that's kind of interesting in the way that Go works. The empty struct has no value. It's kind of a marker. So in a lot of places where logically it would make sense to use a bool, instead in Go they'll use an empty struct. And the reason for this is that a bool takes up the minimum amount, ostensibly 1 byte. A bool only needs 1 bit, but ostensibly it takes up 1 byte. Whereas an empty struct takes up 0 bytes. It's since objects are tagged by their type with the way the compiler works. So this active connection collection here, map, it looks like it's a map. It already has in it whether or not a value exists because it's iterable and what the type of that value is. So that it's not necessary to yet again put anything in there, because if the value exists at all in the map, then we know that it's true. Unless you wanted to actually keep track of the trinary state, meaning is it in the map or not? Is it true or false? So exists, true, false is trinary state. So if you don't actually need to keep track of trinary state, then you just do an empty struct, and then it either exists or it doesn't, rather than it exists, well, it doesn't exist or it does, but if it does exist, it's true or it's false. Okay. So yeah, I probably need to have a mutex for all this stuff too if I'm going to do that. It might be the time to add it. Okay. Listen and serve. It's okay. That's what this is all about, I guess. Ugh. I wish I had a way to test this, because this is a really complex thing that's going on. And I don't know how to test this in isolation. This is there must be a way to unit test this, but I just don't know what exactly it would be. But anyway, we're going to take context. We're going to take this. I'm just going to follow some similar logic to what they have here. I think there's an init that I do on this, isn't there? See, I've got my listener. Okay, I'm going to listen. I'm going to take a listener. I guess each of the listeners I should then I could keep track of the clients. Let me see how they're doing it over here. Do they have the accept in here? They probably don't. Oh, they do. Maybe. So we got the listen and serve. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot that I could learn from this code. I don't know how that got to here. What the heck? Let's go back. If shutting down. Why did it take me to log F? This is not shutting down. What? And shutdown is set. Atomic bool. Well, this is interesting. I try to understand this. Huh. Okay, I think I get this. So they've created a new type, is what we call it, of int32. Now, why they used int32, I'm not so sure. Maybe it's because it's guaranteed to use less memory than an int64, and all modern 64-bit processors are equally efficient at 32-bit integers because they have the legacy hardware inside. Maybe. I'm not really sure why that would be. Because generally what I've heard is that you should just use int, and then you're going to get what is most efficient for the processor to deal with. So, but that's going to be N64, and it's going to take up twice as much memory. And Go is a language where performance does matter. You do care about being performant on purpose. But this looks like a good little bit of code to copy. I haven't used the atomics package very much. Okay, let's just copy and paste that over here. Let me see what the license is on this. This sort of thing, I think, falls within fair use. Yeah, it's a BSD style license, so I'm not going to worry about it. And when it's just a couple of lines of code and it's really, really, really generic. Because if you wanted to implement an atomic bool, how many ways are there to do it? I don't think there's that many. Holy moly. All right, so this makes sense. And then on Telebit itself, oops. Let me go back. Ah, this is a pain. If I had in my mind from the beginning that I'd want this thing to shut down, I wasn't considering all of these use cases because I wasn't thinking that we'd actually want to shut it down. I was kind of thinking, well, it starts up and then it just runs forever. And that's what it is. Okay, shutting down. Interesting. Oh, because this is all inside of a var already. Okay, so we're gonna create an in shutdown. This seems like a kind of a strange abstraction to me. Shutting down, return in shutdown is set. Why not just in shutdown is set? This also doesn't make much sense to me. Oh, true. I get why it's set true. Maybe. It seems that you could just do if you could take a bool, you know, and then you could say if B, then do this, else do the other one. I wonder why they did it this way. This does avoid an if, but I wouldn't imagine this is a hot piece of code where you're going to be setting shutdown very often. So it does seem kind of strange to me that they would do it this way rather than passing in true or false to a set function. So I'm going to do it the way that I would do it because that makes more sense to me. So I am going to, we're going to call v for value, and then we're going to say if v, then we're going to do this, and then I guess we could just return. Otherwise, we're going to do the other operation, which hopefully my code formatter will, rather than curse me, will just make this be the way that it should look. Let's see if that happens. Maybe I get lucky. Maybe I don't. It doesn't look like I did. Let's bring in atomic. Sync atomic is there. All right, what is it complaining at? Okay, I'll just do it this way. I'll just write it the correct way from the start. Fine. Oh, I see why they did it this way. It just reads better. It just reads better to do, say, shutting down rather than in shutdown is set. I get that now. Okay. Incoming, chunks parsed. And another thing, if I was going to write this yet one more time, I would mostly abandon the multiplexed WebSocket connection idea in favor of multiple WebSockets. This gives you a couple of different advantages, one of which is that you have more control over the individual streams and they're simpler to manage. So if there's a one-to-one relationship, I have one socket, one WebSocket per one client. I'm not really losing that much in terms of efficiency. I'm not really loading that much more in terms of memory required per client. In fact, I could see a way in which it might even be less. But multiplexing over the WebSocket itself, I think the reason I did it is in part because I didn't want it to look so much like a server. In case there's intelligent firewalls looking at it, but that was just stupid of me if that's what I was thinking, because I don't know what intelligent firewalls are looking at. I don't understand how deep the machine learning goes on that kind of stuff. Anyway. Oops, no, I don't want to go. Don't take me there. The setter is really slow. I don't like it. I like the old one a lot better, where it was just looking at the code and wasn't trying to do so much cool stuff. But you know me, I don't like cool stuff. All right, so let's say, yeah, if we're going to do a close, or if we're going to do a shutdown, we're going to do and shutdown set true. I really would like to know what their rationale was on this. All right, so in shutdown set true, and then we should have a mutex that we lock. Let me see where that mutex comes from. I'm guessing it's just a generic mutex. Yeah, sync.mutex. So let's go ahead and do that too. And I do wonder about these. Are these atomics really more efficient than just using a mutex? Because I get, for example, the readability of a channel in Go. It's a lot better than setting a mutex and unsetting a mutex. That's essentially what it is. Essentially, a channel is just a function, syntax sugar for a function that sets a mutex, copies a value, and then unlocks the mutex. And so I don't know enough about the specifics of those to know, is it really more did you really get much more out of it by doing atomic? Is it more efficient in some way, or is it just purely for readability? Okay. Close listeners locked. What is it doing? Let's go here. So we're going to go through all of the listeners. And we're going to close them all. That makes sense. So I should keep track of listeners, of course, so that I can go through all the listeners. And I should do the same thing here. This is an interesting way that they go about it. There's no way to reference the listener, but I guess you don't need to reference the listener. You can just iterate over it. I'm probably going to end up pulling over a lot of this stuff. Okay, and then they're defining their own type of connection in here, which is not the same as a net connection, it looks like. And this is old code too. I mean, maybe it's been rewritten. I guess it would be cool to see the little date markers by each line. Okay, can I see, is there a type cont? Yes, there is. Okay. So it's got a reference back to its server, a read-write connection, remote address string, mutex. Okay. So I think I already have that type of listener in here, maybe. I mean, type of connection. Okay, so I probably want, let's see, mux.serve. We're going to open up a new for each of these. Client.close. So here's something I want to know. If this is in the middle of I think I could be wrong, but I think close is thread safe. I think I already said that before, but go HTTP. Let's look at close. We're going to look at net. Oops, I guess net. There we go. Maybe it should be net TCP. Let's go with TCP close. Does it say? Closes the connection. Does this have the mutex in it? File descriptor. Golang. Close. And I think we have a different word that we use in Go, but I'm forgetting off the top of my head. There we go. Concurrent safe. So maybe the mux needs a close as well. There's just, this is one of those things where there's a lot of layers to it. I wasn't thinking about this when I first sat down to do this. Okay, let's see. Handler interface. And I guess that's going to need to close. So I'm having to go down the rabbit hole here. Okay. Let me go look at the shutdown function again. So it's going to close listeners. It's going to close done channels. It's going to call shutdown callback handlers. Does it go through active connections here? Timer. Close idle connections. What is done? Returns an error. Timeout. Okay. So where's my shutdown function again? Shutdown. So I should take all my listeners. Close listeners locked. Really, I just need to look at listeners in general. Track listener. So wherever we serve, what? Oh, that's an L, not a 1. That makes sense, I guess. Poor choice, because it looks like a 1. I think the best L is the one that has the left side, and then, so wait, from your point of view, it would be, has the hat on the left side comes down, and then has the tail on the right side. Is that, am I drawing that correctly? Goes from this way to this way. Basically, just take the tail off the left side of that 1, and that's a better L. This is also weird because we essentially have this track listener true, track listener false. It's that seems to be add listener and remove listener. So that I would say is not clear. Yeah, whether or not to add. So if it's not adding, it's removing. Okay. So knowing that this is not going to be perfect, I'm just going to do it anyway. So we have track listener. Was this the way that it is? Track listener, net listener. Almost makes me want to new type it. Let's see. Where do we have listeners? Because we could totally new type this. So watch. If we do type net listener, then we can do this. Net listeners. And then down below, well, actually, even right here, we could just do func net listeners. Wait, maybe we can't do that because I'm not sure if we could do that or not, actually. But I'm thinking like this. We do m equals struct. And then we could have a lock on that and unlock maybe. And then likewise have a remove. So now we have a net listener type. And let's see, listen. Oh, cool. So if we're a little less generic with this, then, well, I guess it all depends. Because what we're gonna, what are we gonna return? We're gonna return this type of listener. Okay. So when we do a serve, which type of listener are we expecting? We say we're going to take a net listener when we serve. So that could go either way. Well, I guess we could just have more than one. Oh, this is just a lot to put my head around. I want to do it, but I don't know if I want to do it tonight because I don't think that my brain is quite. It's good for me to get back into this and kind of remember where all this code was and what it was all doing. I'm just kind of filling my head with the information here. But in terms of what I wanted to accomplish with my goal was to say that after a certain amount of time, the program will exit. And I'm not going to accomplish that without some major changes because, well, maybe. Okay, let me back out of this. This is all good stuff. I'm going to get back to it. However, I can try something out that is unlikely to work. I don't think it's going to work, but just to get a goal accomplished for the night. I'm going to go all the way back here, and I'm going to look back at this exit after, and I'm just going to use the os.exit. Let's see, exit retry. Let me see what my exit codes were. Okay, I'm going to use my exit retry on this. So we're going to do time.sleep. And I think we can put in a duration here. All right, so I'll go ahead. So this will do what it's supposed to do. And one thing that I don't quite remember with sleep is how, let me see, how it's handled with the operating system sleep. So if you close your laptop lid and it's gone to sleep and then you open your laptop lid, how does that count time? So Golang time.sleep computer sleep. On some systems, the monotonic clock will stop if the computer goes to sleep. Too much going on there. Okay. Monotonic. times TNU. So what I'm trying to understand here is this is a Windows computer. It can go to sleep. So what I need to know is if we want it to go to sleep after 12 hours, or we want the program to exit after 12 hours, or we want the program to exit at 2 a.m., how do we reliably make sure that it is happening that way? And I think what we do is we make sure that both of these are always set. So if one of these or the other of these is set, then we set the other according to the one. That's a little confusing to say. But basically, we can say, we want you to restart this after 20 hours, and we want you to restart it after 2 a.m. or at 2 a.m. And then it becomes an either or. If the last time was before 2 a.m. and the now time is 2 a.m., then it's time to shut down, to exit. And then likewise, we could say, let's see. On some systems, sorry, I'm not completing my sentences here. On some systems, the monotonic clock will stop if the computer goes to sleep. On such a system, t.sub u may not accurately reflect the actual time that passed between t and u. Because the monotonic clock reading has no meaning outside the current process, the serialized form generated by Golang code Marshall binary blah, 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 omit the monotonic reading. The go equals operator is not just the time instance, but also location and monotonic clock reading. See the documentation for time for discussion of equality testing for time values. That's one of the ones I was talking about earlier where you have the is zero. You have to check if it's a zero value because equals is not necessarily true. For debugging, the result of test string does include monotonic clock reading. Yeah, present. So I think what I really want to say is say now is time.now. And can do .add. It's actually kind of confusing to think about it. If the computer goes to sleep, well, I have to use wall clock time. So what if I just create a ticker and every minute I check? Yeah, I could do that. I could just create a ticker and every minute I could check, has so much time elapsed, or is it past the given time? All right, so this is what we'll do. We'll do start is time.now. Okay, and then we'll have, if either of these then if 0 is exit at, that means that exit after is something. So we can just make a wall time that is time.now .add exit after. and if exit after okay, wait a minute. This was exit at is the time itself. So this would actually be time.parse. And we could have an error and then if nil is not equal to error, then we could do something. Nope, this should be the opposite. So they could both be. We need at least one of them needs to be set. They could both be set. Oh, my JavaScript semicolons are creeping in. Okay. Oh, this is not working the way that I'm thinking it should work. What is the parse going to be? I'm going to have hours and minutes. Let's see, clock. Okay, cool. There we go. Clock. Yeah. Okay, we'll try this. We'll try parsing exit at like so. And then if there's an error, we'll try parsing it the other way, which I think was 1504. Yeah. Okay, we can call that kitchen. Do we have another one that's like kitchen but for Europe? No, we don't. That's okay. So we'll try parsing either way here. And if neither of these works, then we're just going to put out could not parse exit at. Is that what it was? Exit at? Okay. There we go. I think that's all right. Okay. Time. All right, I think all these are correct then. All right. So if exit after is 0, then we're going to do then dot add in this duration exit after. Here we go. Now this is starting to make sense. Maybe. I may not be making sense, but this is making sense. So we take a time, we add a duration to it, we get back a time. Take a time, add a duration to it, we get back a time. Okay, exit after. So this should actually be, no, we should be doing the opposite. We should be doing time.now.add exit after. Okay, now which way am I trying to go on this? I'm trying to get the duration. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay, so time t, so if I take now and I subtract then, if I take then and I subtract now, I should get a duration that's positive. Okay, but this has to be made for the future. because basically what I got to do with then in either of these cases is then needs to be set to the present day at least. Or I could call this, instead of calling it then, maybe I should call it clock. Because then is going to be the present day. So really, it's the same thing, time.now. So how do I adjust the clock on this thing? Is there a nice method to say, take a clock, need a clock, take a clock? Do we have a set minutes? I don't want to add, I want to set. And maybe what that is I just want to take the whole thing. I think maybe this is what I want to do. Time.date, put everything in. And then, let's see, location would just be whatever the current location is. Okay. Time.date. We can do start.year, start.month, start.day. And what is time now is going to give by default some time zone, right? Returns the current local time. Sweet, we're good. And then parse. Okay. Huh. So it should be local time by default. Let me just go to the Go Playground real quick. Go Playground. That's not going to work. I just need to write a short Go program. There we go. Right, so let's go run check.go. Interesting. So what does this mean then? t.hour. What should I expect to get back? 15. t.clock. Okay, that's fair. I'll take it. Okay, clock.hour, clock.minute. Go, 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 go. That's right. So what I started out to do, it turns out, as always, it's more complicated. But I'm bringing it back down to something that's relatively simple, which is I'm giving this process needs to be restarted after a certain amount of time. The problem is it's on a Windows computer, and Windows doesn't. Windows requires that if something's loaded as a Windows service, that it has to obey the start-stop signals. If you just exit, I don't remember if it restarts the service or if it puts it in a funky state. But for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going, after going through the code and realizing that the networking stuff that I've done is too poorly organized to quickly and effectively go through and make sure that all of the network server has stopped. Because ideally, with a Windows service, your code should be able to do all of its cleanup routines and end up in the zero state. So when it gets a stop signal, which is not the same as a Unix kill signal, but once it gets a stop signal, it should be able to quickly get back to a zero state as if the program were just about to run. And then when it gets a start signal, then it should be able to reinitialize itself from the zero state as if the program had just run. But if you do an exit, then something bad happens sometimes, maybe. And so I'm just going to say, well, for right now, we're going to say that, whichever comes first, after 12 hours or at 2 a.m., whichever comes first, just exit. And I think the default behavior on Windows, and I don't have a Windows machine to test with right now. I did a year and a half ago when I was working on this, but I can get up a virtual machine, but it's going to take me, a couple hours to get that all set up, at least an hour. And then, anyway, so I'm going to just let it, when it gets the Windows stop signal, I'm just going to let it exit. No, I can't let it exit then. But after a certain amount of time, I'm just going to let it exit. And since it didn't get the stop signal, I think Windows restarts the service. I think that's what happens. But I'm not 100% sure on that. And I don't have a good way to test right now. I don't know if that... I don't even... How does one do that? How does one use EC2 Windows? How do you even log into that? That doesn't... I mean, I know that recent versions of Windows have SSH. I guess that's all I need. I guess it could work. But then you got the system service stuff, and you really have to be able to right-click around in the GUI. Anyway, I'm just going to give them this, and I'm going to say, hey, try this out, see if it works. If it, set it to a really low time, test it in your Windows environment, let me know if it works. And if it doesn't, then I'll go do more work on this. But yeah, so right now what I'm saying is we're going to parse the exit at. So if there's an exit at, so for example, 2:30 a.m. If there's an exit at, then we know that if there isn't an exit after, then our exit after should be the same as the exit at. And this is going, by having both a duration and a wall clock time, what this is going to do for us is make sure that if the computer goes to sleep and it doesn't track monotonic time, we have both counters available. That's what I'm doing here. So it feels a little wonky, but you know, so is life. So I guess I could do year, month, day, location. There we go. Okay. So this should be, can I add one day? So if then, wait, hold on. If this is less than 0, then add 1 times time dot day. I think that's the right way to do it. I don't know why it keeps on saying static check fail. It hasn't given me any indicators of what actually is failing. Oh, it's probably because it's in another file. I think that's actually kosher. I don't think it does anything useful, but I don't think it breaks anything to be there. Just some functions I'm not using. That should be fine. Okay. So this would be example November 1st, 2021, 2:30 a.m. And then now would be example, I'll say 2:30 p.m., 11:30 p.m. There we go. So then this now becomes November 2nd. And then I think this is actually the most important one. So if exit after is 0, now this is the duration, then after should be, so we're taking monotonic time by saying the then minus the now. So this would, we could just do this as start, that would be fine. So if we take then, which is definitely going to be in the future, so we could just do it this way. Wait, is that right? There we go. Okay, so if the duration is 0, so this actually would become exit after equals after. I think that's it right there. Just call this diff maybe. Okay, cool. Boom, there we are. Now, so at the end of this, this might be, say, you know, this could be, if we change that to be 2:30 and it was 11, so 12, 1, 2, right? So this goes 12, goes 1, goes 2. So then this might be 3 hours, might be the new duration. All right, if 3 hours is the new duration, and if it was the other direction, let's see, it'd be 12 hours would take you to 2:30 p.m. and then another 9 hours, so that'd be 21 hours, so it'd be negative 21. Might be an example of what that is. And so if we didn't have that set, then go ahead and set that. Great. Okay, that one's all set up then. So then if exit after is greater than 0, if 0 is equal to length of exit at, then we could take then is equal to start add exit after, and then that's what exit at would be, right? That's our then value. That's a lot simpler. Because all we wanted to get is their then, our then. And do we even need our after? I don't think we do. So much so that I must have already deleted it. And do we need an error value there? No. Okay. So if we have the duration of exit after, if we don't have the string exit at, then our then value is our start value plus our duration of exit after. If we do have our exit at string as a time, then we're going to parse it. If we can't parse it, we're going to try parsing it US time. We're also going to try parsing it European style time. And if we can't parse either, then we're going to exit with an error. And then this would be exit config, I think, meaning that something is fundamentally wrong no matter how many times you start this, it'll never start correctly. Oh, bad arguments. Okay, so we're going to exit with the bad arguments exit code. Great. And let's just return out of there. Why not? Okay. Then, so assuming that the wall clock time parses correctly, then our then value is just going to be today, but set to that wall clock time. Then we take our value of that value that's set to the wall clock time and subtract our start time. And that's going to give us a duration. If the duration is less than 0, that means we actually set the wall clock time to the past. If we set the wall clock time to the past, then all we should have to do is set the wall clock time forward to the future, because by 1 day. And forget about daylight savings or whatever. Although, technically, I guess we could do what it would be set year, I think. Is that it? If we just did set hour, is it? No. We're not, that's not the time package. Here's the time package. Yeah, I don't want to mess with it, but I could just put a to do here. To do set hour to account for, well, we could just do the same thing again, actually. Except then it would be then year, then month, then day, then location. Now, how could location change? Because politics. The location may not exist in the future because America Denver could get renamed to America whatever, whatever. Likely wouldn't affect this program since it's being used to determine when it will die. Okay, so after all of that, we subtract the new time, which is guaranteed to be in the future. Wait, where was our then set? Okay, our then always has the correct location. Great. All right, so now if we didn't have a duration, the duration is the diff between our exit at. All right, great. Now we're just going to have a little for loop here. We're going to sleep for, say, 15 minutes. And then how do we guarantee that we're checking wall clock time? We could do a format, and we could check the string. That would probably work. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so we'll take the times. So every 15 minutes, we'll say if, we'll do now, time.now, and we'll say if now dot sub, or I guess if then dot sub now is less than 0, then we break. If now dot format RFC, right, so with if now UTC dot format time dot RFC 3339, is that what it was? Is greater than check monotonic time, check wall clock time. Okay. I think this is it. RFC 3339. So we throw them both to UTC. And we're good. And I think I'm going to rename then to end. And then I think I'm going to take this whole thing and at least put it in a different function. Oh. All right, what am I passing back with this? Passing back a time dot duration, a time dot time, right? So what was this? Was that really all that ends up being? I think I actually want to get this a little bit better. So we want this to be exit at, exit after. And then I guess this could have an error. Oh no. If it has an error, we put it in there like this. And then I guess this would be where we would return the error. We just return that as in, what would we do? Nil, 0, and error. And then if we had the error here, if nil is not equal to error, then we'd exit out. Okay. So we'd return end, exit after, and nil if we're successful. Okay. I'm closing up here. Akshat, what's up? I'm new to Go, but shouldn't it be error is not equal to nil? So, general rule of thumb, this does not necessarily apply to Go because Go is a much saner language than most other languages. But generally speaking, you want your constants to be on the left and your variables to be on the right. And the reason for this is, again, it doesn't apply in Go because the Go compiler won't allow you to make this class of error. But if you were to have a typo, in most languages, it would be syntactically correct to do error equals nil. So if you, let's say that you had not equals nil, and then you went back and you're like, oh no, I want to do a comparison. I don't need this not. And let's say that you forgot to add the double equals, or you just made a typo and your finger slipped and you only hit it once, or whatever. In most languages, this would be syntactically valid. And then, well, in this particular case, let's say, you know, it was something else other than nil, because the nil is also a falsy value, but you get the point. It would do an assignment, and then it would evaluate the assignment. And so if error equals nil here might be true, but if you did this, then it would be false. So that's why general rule of thumb in programming, constants go on the left, because this is not syntactically valid in any language. Well, I won't say in any language. There's probably some language where you can reassign null. After all, in JavaScript, you can reassign undefined. But you can't reassign null in JavaScript. So again, that's something your linter should catch anyway, but I don't trust linters. I mean, not that I don't trust linters, but you want to defensively code. You want to write the best code that you possibly can. So people will say this is not idiomatic Go. They're not wrong, but since I program in multiple languages, I program in the way that I typically try to write programs that would be readable no matter which language I'm writing in. And this is one of the small areas where I differ from some of the common Go idioms, since, like I said, it's not possible to have this class of error in Go. Same thing if I was calling a function or anything like that, whatever cannot be assigned goes on the left, except in some situations where it would just be really awkward. Okay. All right. So let's say if start dot sub, well, what would it be? If end dot sub start is greater than D. There we go. I think that's right. No, this should be now, duh. So if now minus the start time's in the past, so now is greater, so that's going to give us a positive number, is greater than D, the duration, or if now minus end is greater than 0, then we're going to break. But that deals with monotonic time, so that could fail if a computer goes to sleep, so we also check wall clock time. So if now is greater than end, then we break. And when we break, then we stop the service and we exit. To do. Does this restart automatically? All right, let's see if this compiles still. What have we got here? Build sh. Let's see. I thought I had some more build examples in here. Build Windows client. I actually do want to build the Windows client, but I don't want to build it right now. Let's just try go build vmod. There we go. That looks all about right. Command telebit. Telebit, tell a friend, tell a lie about where you been. What in the world? Uber Atomic. What? Where's Uber coming from? Zapcore. What depends on Zapcore? Why is there Uber in my code? Glide, multi-air. Okay. Vendor. Acme client. Huh. Acme client uses Zap? Now I gotta go figure out what the heck Zap is. I don't like seeing strange, seemingly unrelated nonsense in my dependencies, you know? Zap is a logger? Meh. Okay, whatever. Seems kind of dumb. That doesn't seem very Mat-like. This is probably pre-change. You must be here on the West Coast. Thought I would pop in again. Hey, Scriptees. That's kind of funny. Yes, I am on. Well, I'm Mountain Time. But it's time for me to go soon. Okay, where was it that I internal telebit listener set true? Okay. Yeah, we could do set true here. Return nil. Interesting. I wonder if I made a boo-boo here. Hold on just a second. Let's see. Huh. The repo disappeared. All right. I'm going to need to push this to a new repository, it looks like. That's okay. I'm going to do, on the other screen, I'm git remote add. Okay, git remote rm. Okay, cool. That went smoothly enough, I think. Now, I'm not sure why this is being fussy, or if I need to worry about it even. I must have to worry about it because it's being fussy. Conster. Let's see. I think that should be DB URL, I guess. Might be one of these things where I change the name somewhere. I guess technically that should be URI, not URL. Tomato, potato. Oh yeah, and then we've got, what is it, PG URL? And I just renamed that to DB URL, right? Okay. I need to make a little mini program that just twiddles bits in Windows services to be able to test this effectively. But I'm going to go with, I don't think I did any harm. Oh, whoops. I need to pop that stash right back out there. Git add. There we go. Let's see if we can do this build process one more time. Oh no, I can't because apparently I did harm. I did not define certain things. All right, where's stop at? Nope, that's not where I want to be. Let me go into stop. No, I don't want to get at it. I want to vim it. That's what I want to do. Okay, so this should be svc.run is right there. So why can't I have svc.stop right here? Is that what this is all about? svc on that part of the thing. Implements svc.service. Something's wrong. What's going on here? Init svc environment. Oh, svc. Okay, that's P for program. Is that what we're doing? PRG. PRG.stop. And then where's all those diffs at? There we go. Now it doesn't have to be so angry with me. Undefined time.day. Time.day. Is it days with an S? Is that what it is? Error F. Yeah, I know that. That makes sense. Let's go back to that one there. Error F. Error F. I'm in the wrong thing, aren't I? No, I was right in the right place. There we are. And then this would have been, I guess, yeah, whatever. It's good enough. Okay, so what do we do? 24 hours? We can't do days? Time about 24 hour. There we go. And then get end. It's kind of a stupid name. It's not particularly descriptive, but so be it. All right, error %v, and let's do error. And there we go. Build again. What looks like an environment variable problem? Too many arguments and call to flag.string. I bet there are. 332. String var. That's what that should be. Now it won't be upset with me. All right, it's taking a little bit of time. Cool. There we go. All right, so let me look at this again. Exit after will cause the program to forcefully exit after a given duration. Oh, that's exit after. Exit at will cause the program to forcefully exit at the given time. And then we'll have to figure out how to do the shutdown process later. Okay, if exit at the string is greater than 0, length of the string is greater than 0, or the duration is greater than 0, then we do want to forcefully exit this after a certain amount of time, in which case we're going to take the start time, we're going to get the end time and duration. If the error was not nil, then we're going to print out what the error was and exit with the bad arguments code, because nothing can be done to correct this problem. It's not a temporary problem. It's not a happenstantial problem. It is a every single time you're going to get this problem. So let's exit bad arguments. Then we're going to sleep for 15 minutes. And then we're going to check the time. And we're going to see if the start time, which is in the past, the greater present time minus the past start time is greater than the duration, or the present time minus the end time. That is wrong. That should be the other way around. That should be, oh no, this makes sense, because this is saying if now is greater than end, but this is monotonic time. Okay, let me get back in there. So checking the monotonic time. If either of the monotonic time checks mean that the monotonic time duration has passed, which I think I'll just put a comment in there, monotonic, because the reason we're checking monotonic time is for the duration in particular. Well, it could be either, but it particularly checks the duration. And then we've got the wall clock check, which is looking good. Both times are UTC. If now is greater than the expected end time, then we break. If we break out of this loop, then we call program stop and we exit with the retry code, because stopping the service won't actually do anything, but the to-do as part of the stop will make it so that we actually close all connections down. And then exiting should tell the Windows service that something went wrong, and then it should restart from 0. And then our get end function is all this nonsense. It really does need a little bit of a test. This was just documentation updates. But just again, to go over all of this. So we're expecting that the current time, whoops, so this is what we were expecting from start. There we go. Okay. So if we have a duration, and if we don't have an exit at a wall clock time, then the wall clock time should be the start time plus the duration should be the end time. If we do have an exit at time, then we should parse it. If we can't parse it, we return an error, which is the bad arguments error. Otherwise, we take our parsed time and we set it as the same day as our current start time. But if setting the hours ends up being in the past, then we add 24 hours. And then if we don't have a duration, we set the duration to be the difference between the start time and the end time. All right, it's good. I'm going to push it. feature. And okay. Oh, I need to document this as well in the flags. Too many flags. Too many flags. Exit after. Okay. Forcefully exit after so many after the given duration. Exit at. Whoops. Forcefully exit after the given time. And I do want to change one other thing in here because this really doesn't matter. But for the purposes of testing, it'll be a lot easier if this is down in the 1 minute range. So if every minute we check this process, that's going to be nothing. In fact, I almost want to do 61 seconds. Yeah, whatever. We'll do it 1 minute. Easier to read. Okay. Okay. Forcefully exit at the given wall clock time. Nope, I didn't want to do that one actually. So here we go. Feature. Forcefully exit after given duration or at given time. Okay. Oh. All right. Well, I am quite tired, and it is quite time for me to go. So, for those of you that joined in, I hope that this was useful in some way. If it was, if you got some entertainment value out of it, probably not because I'm just really tired right now. Or learned something, give it a thumbs up. Otherwise, thumbs down because every thumb helps. Feel free to leave comments, ask questions, etc. I will put the Discord link for those of you that are interested in joining in on the Discord. There we go. It just kind of depends on the day. I'd say it's about 50-50 between nice episodes where I've got a little bit of energy and know what's going on and we get to something, in a reasonable amount of time. And then other times where it's just like, like this, I haven't worked on this project in a year and a half. Where in the heck did I leave this thing off? Where's the best place to put this? Yeah, we're going to have to take a shortcut and do it this way instead, yada, yada. So, it just depends. But I hope that you have a good one. I hope that you either have a great day or that you sleep well or whatever it is that you're going for right now. And with that, I will tell you adios. But actually, before I go, subscribe if you're interested in seeing. I'm going to open up. This is the Helm, the home server for email, file storage, and VPN. I think, do I still have that up here? So I just did the M1 Max and then the MacBook Pro 2015 setup videos and developer setup, the way that I set them up. And I think some of that was valuable. So you can check in the YouTube channel, Coolage86. Should be down the doobly-doo if you're not on YouTube already. But if you're interested in how I do the developer setup, and if you want to see what this thing's all about, thehelm.com, I may set it up tomorrow. That's what I'm thinking. We'll see. But I am going to set it up at some point. So if you're interested in that, yeah. And then I will be getting back to payments at some point this week. We'll finish out the PayPal payments. Got the credit card subscription stuff. Or they subscribe directly using a credit card without having to log into PayPal. Got that part figured out. Don't actually intend on using it, but it's one of those rabbit holes that I went down and I wanted to see what the process was like. And now I know what the process is like. So we're pretty much going to wrap up with that. And then let's see, once we're done with the payments project, now we're going to have a part 2 of the payments project. I mean, a big part 2. Because we're gonna implement another payment service, which is the one that I really want to use. Because remember, PayPal is just the backup because it's convenient for users. Anyway, all that another time. You have a good one again. Like I said, adios.